An overnight drug bust in Plainfield, just the latest indication that Connecticut has a drug problem, a heroin problem, in fact, and we are not alone. The number of overdoses across the country has increased dramatically in recent years. And joining us now to take a closer look at what's going on is Max Danlin, a manager with Aware Recovery Care, which, by the way, you're telling me is a new thing.
Correct.
In addiction treatment. It's home-based treatment. How does that work?
Correct. So what we do is we implement the things that you could find in a traditional inpatient residential center, and we bring that into the home. So our teams consist of an addiction psychiatrist, a registered nurse, an LMFT, and what we deem as certified recovery advisors.
Okay.
These are individuals who are in long-term recovery who have been in the shoes of the client.
Okay. Based in Madison, you service the whole state.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk about the problem. How extensive is the heroin problem, both nationally and here in Connecticut? Yeah,
a recent survey, 1.5 million heroin users in the United States. State medical examiner released there were 500 deaths last year attributed to heroin overdose, up 20–30% this year.
So we're seeing addiction rates rising.
Correct.
Why do we think that's happening?
It's readily available. You know,
right. It's just accessible.
It's very accessible, and it's getting much cheaper.
Okay.
The price of medication, typically painkillers, is what was very popular a few years ago. Is the price is going up too high. Heroin's readily available, and it's much cheaper.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
So what are which demographic groups are feeding this surge right now?
I personally work with individuals 18 to 30. We've worked with individuals from 16 to 75. We've seen a big surge in Fairfield County, especially middle-aged men and women.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And so people of all ages and all walks of life,
yeah,
really.
It does not discriminate.
Okay. So you know, so the question here is what can be done to stem the tide, and obviously that's not an easy answer, but where do you start?
One of the biggest things is opening more beds for individuals. Right now, there's a 2 to 4 week waiting list for a lot of individuals who are trying to find treatment. More craving cessation medications. Right now there's a limit with how much people are able to prescribe craving cessation medication.
Okay.
And there needs to be an integrated approach to this. So, for example, if someone gets diabetes, you don't just give them a pill and say, go on, you're healthy now. No, you have to change your lifestyle. You have to incorporate a new life in order to deal with the diabetes. Addiction needs to be treated the same way. You need the craving cessation medication, but you also need therapy. You need a nurse to check on how your health is. You need an all-around, wrap-around approach.
All-encompassing.
Correct.
Okay, and so we have some people watching right now, undoubtedly, who have family members who are dealing with this. What do you say to them? What do they need to do? What do they need to be aware of? And how do they approach it if they have a loved one with this problem?
There are many support groups. Definitely look online to look for the warning signs to see the acuity of the care that is needed. There are many numbers you can call to find resources.
Right.
Although I said, you know, a lot of beds are full right now, there are great resources out there. You know, I have the privilege of working with a lot of providers who believe in this model of treatment, the wraparound treatment. You know, there's treatment out there.
All right, so get information and get help.
Correct.
All right, Max Danlin from the Aware Recovery Care. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you.
Jen, back to you.
Really important topic. Thank you so much, Brian.